Good evening, NWS Revolution fans and viewers. This is your NWS Revolution President Lore, and today I am gonna give you wonderful fans, my Revolution Impact reveal. Okay, here we go. Let's begin the reveal, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? All right, tonight's Revolution Impact was was from the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. And the commentators for the show were Joe Gowley and Dan Lambert. Revolution Impact starts off with me, Laura, setting up my new MWS President office with a desk, computer, office phone, printer, and fax machine, and the United States flag with my name on my desk and my name on my office door that reads NWS President Lore. Now that has a pretty nice catch to it. NWS President Lore, which means I can book matches as well, and I can also call the shots, just like General Manager Cody Mercer does, and just like Scott Casey-Gale does. However, Scott Casey-Gale is a board drum now still. So let's just say I'm going to be booking a lot of matches for the next coming weeks. All right. And then tonight's Revolution Impact was called Lore Presents the first ever NWS Revolution Roulette, which means all type of wrestling matches will be decided by the Revolution Roulette wheel. NWS commentators Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott welcome the fans to the MGM Grand Arena and break down the match card. They then introduce the NWS Revolution President Lore, which that's me, as Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott then go back to commentary. I, Lore, then come out to a mixed reaction from the Las Vegas crowd as I introduce myself and tell the fans all about myself. I then ask the fans if they are ready for Revolution Roulette. The fans say yes, yes, yes. I say I thought they might as I go over the match and say the first match will be for the NWS Tag Team titles as Rob and Jacob McGovern, father and son, will defend their tag team titles against the Acclaimed, against Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, against the Young Bucks, against former tag team champions Devin the Demon and Legion, against former tag team champions Zed and Santos, against Queens Xavier Reed and The Bloker, against former tag team champions Lion King X and JJ, and against American Mercenaries member Vinny Joe, the leader, and Tony Jr. II. But what kind of match will it be? I, Lore, then spin the roulette wheel, and it lands on TLC. I then hype up the Las Vegas crowd and chant, tables, ladders, and chairs, oh my! Tables, ladders, and chairs, oh my! All the tag teams come out as I, Lore, say good luck to our tag teams and say, may the best tag team win. Okay, the first match is for the NWS Tag Team Championship TLC match. The McGoverns versus the Acclaimed versus Keith Lee versus and Swerve Strickland versus the Young Bucks versus Devin the Demon and Legion versus Zed and Santos versus Queens Xavier Reed and The Bloker versus Lion King X and JJ versus Vinny Joe and Tony Jr. II. This is the first ever matches. All tag teams trade blows. Queens Xavier Reed and The Bloker had all tag teams of suplexes and steel chairs, then power slammed them all through tables. Queens and The Bloker go to climb the ladder, but Zed and Santos climb the ladder and trade punches. The McGoverns then push the ladder down, causing Zed and Santos, Queens, and The Bloker to go crashing out of the ring. Lion King X and JJ fight back and scuffle with the Young Bucks and the Acclaimed and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland. Devin the Demon and Legion. Queens Xavier Reed and The Bloker are the most dominant in this match, as well as Vinny Joe and Tony Jr. II. And each as they drop each other tag teams with the finishers, Zed and Santos, Queens Xavier Reed and the Bloker, Vinny Jones, Tony Jr. II, take out Lion King X and JJ, the Young Bucks, the Acclaimed, and Keith Lee and Swerve Strickland, and powerbomb them through tables, ladders, and chairs. Oh my! Queens and the Bloker, the McGoverns, and Vinny Jones, Tony Jr. II, then dropped each other with their finishes. The McGoverns, Zed and Santos, Queens, and the Bloker, and Vinny Jones, Tony Jr. II, all climbed the ladders and desperately tried to grab the tag team titles. And in the end, Rob and Jacob McGovern knocked the ladder down to a stack of steel chairs and freed the Queens and the Bloker, Zed and Santos, and Vinny Joe and Tony Jr. the second through tables, climbed the ladder, and successfully grabbed the tag team titles and retained winners and still NWS tag team champions, the McGoverns, via putting their opponents through tables, climbing the ladder, and successfully grabbing the tag team titles. And I gotta say, that was one hell of a TLC match I put together. Already, I'm doing good in my first booking of my show. And then I come back out and say, wow, that was a great TLC match. I actually say, was that a great TLC match or what? The fans chant, hell yeah, as I lower break down the next match, and it was The Fox versus Roman Reigns. But what kind of match will it be? I spin the wheel, and it lands on time limit match. Match number 2, time limit match. The Fox versus Roman Reigns with Paul Heyman. The clock starts as The Fox and Roman Reigns wrestle back and forth with move after move. As The Fox headbutts Reigns and claws him in the face, Reigns comes back with a single arm DDT, then a corner clothesline, and other multiple clotheslines, as well as Superman punches The Fox, then spears him, goes to pin him, but The Fox kicks out at 2.5, fights off Reigns with a diving fist drop and a cap landing and slingshot, then a sunset flip axe handle as The Fox finishes off Roman Reigns with the Doomsday Device for the pinfall. Winner, The Fox via pinfall with Doomsday Device, as this match lasted 14 minutes. And I gotta say, this was another good match. I am loving my new job as NWS president. And then I come back out and again, and yet again, and well, it's time for the gauntlet match. And ask, who are the 3 opponents that Johnny Da Vinci will be defending both his Intercontinental and United States Championship against? As I spin the roulette wheel, the first opponent is MVP Montel Vontavious Porter. So it's Johnny Da Vinci versus MVP. Johnny and MVP trade blows as MVP hits Johnny with his signature moves and such as a face breaker, knee smash, and face wash and dragon screw, and more of the signature moves. And he drops Johnny Da Vinci with the playmaker TDP, and 305 goes to pin him, but Johnny gets a shoulder up. Johnny fights off MVP, spears him down, and hits a suicide dive, then delivers a death sentence and pins MVP 1, 2, 3, and still NWS Intercontinental United States Champion Johnny Da Vinci via pinfall with death sentence. Gotta say, I'm impressed with Johnny Da Vinci. I'm really impressed. And then Johnny Da Vinci and MVP shake hands as a sign of respect. I then congratulated Johnny Da Vinci, but he has 2 more opponents as I spin the roulette wheel, and it lands on Sir Robert Knight II. Johnny Da Vinci versus Sir Robert Knight II. Johnny Da Vinci and Sir Robert Knight put on a good wrestling match, with Da Vinci taking down Knight 2 with a fallaway slam, then a scoop slam, as Knight II spinning heel kicks Da Vinci, hits him with an X Factor, and delivers the codebreaker, goes to pin him, but Johnny Da Vinci has his foot on the rope as he locks Da Vinci in the figure 4, but Da Vinci does not submit and locks Robert Knight II in a camel clutch, but Knight refuses to tap out as Da Vinci then plants the death sentence on Robert Knight II and gets the 1, 2, 3 pinfall. Winner and still Intercontinental United States Champion Johnny Da Vinci via pinfall with death sentence. And then Johnny Da Vinci and Sir Robert Knight II shake hands as a sign of respect. And then I again congratulate Johnny Da Vinci on his victory, but has one more opponent as I spin the roulette wheel, and it lands on WWE wrestler Edge, who gets a huge cheers from the Las Vegas crowd. Joe Garley and Dan Lambert mark out on commentary. With true wrestling passion and emotion, Johnny Da Vinci versus Edge. Johnny and Edge wrestle back and forth with move after move, submissions after submission. Edge hits Johnny with all his signature moves, then spears him and delivers the educator. Goes to pin, but Johnny Da Vinci kicks out at 2.5. This match goes on for 10 more minutes, with both men wrestling back and forth with signature moves. Johnny slams Edge with a backbreaker, neckbreaker, and in the end drops Edge with the death sentence and gets the pinfall winner and still NWS Intercontinental United States Champion Johnny Da Vinci via pinfall. After the match, Da Vinci and Edge shake hands. And then I get on the mic and say how impressed I am with Johnny Da Vinci and his victory and his in-ring skills, and announces that Johnny Da Vinci versus me, Lore, for both the Intercontinental United States Champion with Johnny Da Vinci's career on the line. And let me go back. And at Revolution Chambers, it's gonna be me, Johnny Da Vinci versus me for both his Intercontinental United States Championships and with Johnny Da Vinci's career on the line. If I win, I am the new Intercontinental United States Champion, and Johnny Da Vinci must retire. But Johnny Da Vinci wins, he retains both titles, stays in the NWS Revolution, and I, Lore, will free Scott Casey Gale, also known as Scotty Bad Bones. I pull out the Revolution Chambers match contract, show the crowd as NWS Head of Talent Relations Michael Cole comes out along with NWS General Manager World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer. Cody Mercer introduces himself to me, Lore. As we shake hands, Michael Cole gets on the mic and goes over the stipulation for Johnny Da Vinci versus Lore, which is me, at Revolution Chambers. As Johnny gets on the mic and says he will do everything in his power to fight and retain both the Intercontinental United States titles. How he will fight for his career, and more importantly, the freedom of Scott Casey Gale, also known as Scotty Bad Bones. Johnny says he does not like me, but he respects me as an android and as a Star Trek villain and as the NWS president, because no authority figure has ever stacked the odds against him like I, Lore, have. And Johnny Da Vinci says he truly respects me and has no hatred for me whatsoever. But at Revolution Chambers, Johnny Da Vinci says he will beat the hell out of me and defeat me, and then bring back Scotty Bad Bones as he signs the contract. And then I, Lore, get on the mic and say I respect Johnny Da Vinci too, and the reason I kidnapped Scott Casey Gale, also known as Scotty Bad Bones, and assimilated Scott into a Borg joint is because I wanted to make an impact. I wanted to get a reaction and response, and I did just that. I, Lore, say the reason I poisoned Johnny Da Vinci is because I wanted to show him what I am capable of and how vicious and vindictive I can be. And that I will do anything, no matter what the stakes are, because that is who I, Lore, am. I am a man of my word, and I signed the contract. Michael Cole then gets on the mic and says, well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Johnny Da Vinci versus Lore is now official at Revolution Chambers. Cody Mercer tells me, Lore, I better mean it when I say I'm a man of my word. And if Johnny wins, he truly better be a man of his word and free Scott Casey Gale and turn him back into a human being, or he will make my life a living hell. I, Lore, agree, and says if Johnny beats me, I will free Scotty Bad Bones, turn him back into a human being, and me and Cody Mercer shake hands on agreement. And I gotta say, that was a really good segment between me and Johnny Da Vinci. I mean, I'm a man of my word. I'm an honest guy. And I'm gonna say it once again. If Johnny Da Vinci beats me, I will free Scott Kissigeo and turn him back into a human being. And then, after this segment, I get on the mic and introduce the next match, which is Mitchell Mayette versus Samoa Joe, as I spin the roulette wheel and it lands on submission match. So match number 4, submission match, Mitchell Mayette versus Samoa Joe. This was the 4th match as Mayette and Joe took each other down, as Mayette hits Joe with a baseball slide, then a tilt-a-whirl as Joe fights Mayette off and hits him with multiple suplex variations and multiple stiff kicks, then multiple backhand chops and snap suplex as he locks Mayette in the coquina clutch. But Mayette does not submit and fights up Joe with a Hurricane Rana, then an airplane spin, and a couple of elbow drops and leg drops, and a catapult and Olympic slam as he hip tosses him and locks him in a chokehold. But Joe does not submit. As Mayette puts him in the sharpshooter, Joe locks Mayette in a rear naked chokehold. He does not tap up. But as this match goes on for 12 more minutes, with submission after submission, Mayette then locks Samoa Joe in the Steiner recliner, finally making Joe submit. Winner, Mitchell Mayette via submission with Steiner recliner, as this match lasted 15 minutes. And I gotta say, that was another great match between Samoa Joe and Mitchell Mayette. See, and many people were thinking I was gonna do a horrible job as president of NWS Revolution. Many of you thought I was gonna put on horrible matches. No, the first 4 matches that I put together were absolutely phenomenal. You know, and then I come back and Lore come back out with the Scott Kissigeo Borg drone, and I announced that Scott Kissigeo's new name is Scott Meister. That's right, Scott Meister. SCOTTMEISTER. Scott Meister. And I introduced Scott Meister as destructive, powerful, influential, high-powered, controlling, and dominant. I lower than spin the wheel, and it lands on false count anywhere. And it's match number 5. Scott Meister with me lower in this corner versus Brian Danielson. False count anywhere match. This was the 5th match of Scott Meister and Brian Danielson. Trade blows. Scott Meister DDTs Danielson, hits him with an enziguri, then a running knee and lariat. Danielson hits Scott Meister with multiple suplex variations and multiple kick variations, loads of signature moves such as European uppercut, Indian deathlock, discus elbow smash. Then he plants the bridging dragon suplex and heel hook with the knee plus goes to pin, but Scott Meister kicks out at 2.5. Scott Meister then uppercuts Danielson as they fight at ringside with move after move. Then up the rampway, and then backstage they get weapons. Danielson beats Scott Meister with a metal pipe, then a baseball bat and a wrench. As he fights Danielson off and hits him with a trash can, then a steel chair, candlestick, and Singapore cane. Lord toss Scott Meister a toolbox. Scott Meister hits Danielson with it, and Scott Meister and Danielson hit each other with hammers and screwdrivers and sledgehammers. Brian Danielson is busted open. Scott Meister and Danielson fight all the way to the top of a scaffolding and beat the hell out of each other. Danielson almost forced Scott off the scaffolding and through tables, but Scott Meister gets back to his feet, and out of nowhere, RKO's Brian Danielson off the scaffolding and through flaming metal tables and gets the pinfall. Winner Scott Meister via pinfall with RKO through flaming metal tables and scaffolding, as this match lasted 19 minutes and 25 seconds. Wow. All our Lord got to say is that was brutal. I mean, ever since I turned Scott Kissigeo into a Borg drone, he is brutal. And he's actually getting support and respect from the fans. Wow. And then we go to the office of General Manager, the World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer, watching from his General Manager office. showing concern and worry for Scott Meister and Cody Mercer wonders what exactly I Loa am up to as he talks to his manager and bodyguard Vinny Joe and the American Mercenaries. Johnny Da Vinci tells Mercer he will fix Scott Kisageo when he defeats me Loa at Revolution Chambers. And then I and the NWS President Lore come out and talk about the co-main event as I spin the roulette wheel and it lands on blindfold match. So it's the NWS Universal Championship blindfold match. Psycho Mercer with Vinny Joe in his corner versus WWE's Gunther. This was the sixth match as Psycho Mercer and Gunther put their blindfolds on as the match got underway as Psycho and Gunther squared off with Psycho Mercer taking Gunther for down as he punches him, then slams him down and gives him bench presses. Gunther fights back and hits Psycho Mercer with a big boot, brainbuster, butterfly suplex, diving splash, German suplex, high angle Boston crab, jumping knee drop, knife edge chop, seated press, shotgun drop kick, and superplex. Goes to pin Psycho Mercer, but he kicks out at 2. Gunther, formerly known as Walter, locks Psycho Mercer in the Gojira clutch, but Psycho Mercer does not submit as Gunther drops him with the Last Sympathy, burning lariat, 500 driver, golden bomb, and folding power bomb as he goes to pin him, but Psycho Mercer gets a shoulder up. Psycho Mercer then fights off Gunther, stomps a mud hole in him and walks it dry as he hits Gunther with signature moves and missile drop kick, then a back body drop as he cycles, then Psycho Mercer then continues to fight off Gunther as he psycho stuns Gunther, then Psycho bombs him, and then Psycho Mercer finishes Gunther off with the Psycho Buster and gets the pinfall. Winner and still NWS Universal Champion Psycho Mercer with blindfold via pinfall with Psycho Stunner, Psycho Bomb, and Psycho Buster as this match lasted 17 minutes and 13 seconds. Wow. That was one hell of a blindfold match that I put together. And you got to give respect to both Psycho Mercer and Gunther, formerly known as Walter in WWE, for being able to wrestle and put on one hell of a co-main event. And you got to give me credit for putting that match together. And you got to give credit and respect to Psycho Mercer for being able to retain his Universal Championship. And then Lord come up for the main event World Heavyweight title match between General Manager World Heavyweight Champion Cody Mercer and the 46th President of the United States Joe Biden. Lord and spin the roulette wheel and lands in Buried Alive match as Lord explained the rules to the fans. I explained the rules of the Buried Alive match to the wrestling fans. Main event, NWS World Heavyweight Championship Buried Alive match. Cody Mercer with Vinny Joe in his corner versus the 46th President of the United States Joe Biden, then with Don Callis and Paul Heyman in his corner. This was the main event as Cody Mercer and Joe Biden trade punches. Mercer wastes no time beating Joe Biden down as he opens a can of whoop-ass on him, drops Biden with a stack of dimes. He covers the neck and he stomps a mud hole in Biden and walks it dry. He gives him bench presses. Biden wakes Mercer in the eyes, slams him down. Biden kicks him and BKOs him as he drags Mercer over to the graveyard and is about to bury him, but Mercer fights off Biden, drags him back to the wing, hits him on the head with a steel chair, busting him wide open as Mercer smears the blood out over Joe Biden's face. And then Joe Biden low blows Mercer, pulls out brass knuckles, and punches Mercer very hard in the face, busting Cody Mercer wide open and knocking him out cold as Biden drags Cody Mercer over to the graveyard and is about to toss him in the grave pit, but Cody Mercer regains consciousness and beats down Biden. He gets weapons such as candlesticks and silver canes, metal pipes, steel chains. He whacks Joe Biden with all the weapons, making him bleed even more. The general manager nails the Mercer Stunner, Tombstone Pile Driver, and Mercer footprint to Joe Biden as he breaks cinder blocks on the arms and legs of the 46th President of the United States, Joe Biden, and breaks one more cinder block over the head of Joe Biden. Mercer then grabs the shovel. He pours water on Joe Biden's face, waking him up. And then Cody Mercer hits Joe Biden very hard in the face with the shovel as Joe Biden stumbles and falls down in the grave pit. Cody Mercer then uses the shovel to haul the dirt in the grave pit and then gets a forklift and hauls the rest of the dirt in the grave pit, burying President Joe Biden alive as he closes the grave pit, seating Joe Biden in the grave and winning the match and retaining his world heavyweight title. Winner and still NWS World Heavyweight Champion, General Manager Cody Mercer via pinfall for burying 46th President Joe Biden alive. Is this the end of President Joe Biden and the Cody Mercer feud? Is Biden's in-ring career over? How long will Joe Biden be gone for? When will Joe Biden return to the NWS Revolution? As Joe Gowdy and Dan Lambert say on commentary with true wrestling passion and emotion. We know, and then Joe Gowdy and Dan Lambert say they know Joe Biden will take time off they said they know Joe Biden will take time off from NWS Revolution for a couple months. But when will Joe Biden return? After the match, Mitchell Mayette came out as Cody Mercer was celebrating, and Mitchell Mayette hits Cody Mercer with a shovel, knocking him out cold as he gets gasoline and kerosene and is about to set Cody Mercer on fire. But security comes up to stop him and restrain him. And then 49th Vice President Kamala Harris and the NWS Avengers come out and stop on an unconscious Cody Mercer for burying Joe Biden alive and seating him in the grave pit. The elite Regents of Darkness and the Sons of Chaos and the American Mercenaries come out to even the odds. And I, Lore, the NWS president, come out, get on the mic and say, enough is enough. This ongoing feud with the elite Regents of Darkness, the Sons of Chaos, the American Mercenaries, and the NWS Avengers needs to come to an end. So next week on Revolution Impact, the main event will be Cody Mercer and the elite Regents of Darkness teaming up with the Sons of Chaos and the American Mercenaries to take on Vice President Kamala Harris and the NWS Avengers, and the winner take all buried alive match with both the World Heavyweight title, Universal title, Intercontinental United States title all on the line. The losing team will not be fired, just to let you know. But the Spirit Alive match will close the chapter on the elite Regents of Darkness, Sons of Chaos, and American Mercenaries versus the NWS feud once and for all. A passionate Joe Gowdy says on commentary, that is huge blockbuster news coming from our new NWS President Lore, the android, the twin brother of Lieutenant Commander Data. And they say that, and Joe Gowdy says, I, Lore and White, this rivalry between the elite Regents of Darkness, Sons of Chaos, American Mercenaries, and NWS Avengers needs to end. A passionate Dan Lambert agrees and says, whether you like Lore or not, or dislike Lore, he is 100% right. It's time to put an end to the elite Regents of Darkness, Sons of Chaos, the American Mercenaries versus the NWS Avengers feud. Gowdy says, Joe Gowdy says, what will I, Lore, come up with next? We are out of time. Good night, everyone. Dan Lambert says, see you next week for the Go Home Show to Revolution Chambers as the show goes off the air. So once again, next week's Revolution Impact main event will be Cody Mercer teaming up with the elite Regents of Darkness and the Sons of Chaos and American Mercenaries versus Vice President Kamala Harris and the NWS Avengers in a buried alive winner take all match. And yes, that's right. So I'm going to say it once again, the main event for next week's Revolution Impact will be the elite Regents of Darkness, Sons of Chaos, and American Mercenaries versus Vice President Kamala Harris and the NWS Avengers in a buried alive match and a winner take all match with everything on the line. And the losing team, and I just got done talking to General Manager Cody Mercer, and he has said the losing team must disband, which is whichever team loses, they have to disband and go their separate ways. Wait. So it's gonna be one hell of a main event next week on Revolution Impact. And, and it's gonna be one hell of a buried alive match. Unfortunately, Joe Biden won't be here next week on Revolution Impact as Joe Biden has suffered a major injury in his buried alive match against Cody Mercer. So he will not be teaming up with the NWS Avengers next week. So Vice President Kamala Harris will be filling in for him. Well, I gotta say, I think I put together one hell of a NWS Revolution Impact. I mean, a lot of fans have been tweeting me and have been messaging me and emailing me saying, Lore, you're doing a great job. Even though that you're a heel, you're doing a great job as the president of the NWS Revolution. What more will you come up with next? Well, what more will I come up with next? You gotta tune into next week's Revolution Impact to see. I've already came up with another Buried Alive match. And we are expected to hear from Cody Mercer either tomorrow or sometime next week. What will Cody Mercer say about burying Joe Biden alive? What will Cody Mercer say about next week's match tonight? But the Buried Alive match, which is once again Cody Mercer, the Mercers and the Elite Leadership Doctors and the Sons of Chaos and the American Mercenaries versus Vice President Kamala Harris and the NWS Avengers in a Buried Alive winner-take-all match. And whatever team loses, they have to disband and go their separate ways. It's going to be one hell, and it's also going to be the go-home show to Revolution Chambers. So it's going to be one hell of a show next week on Revolution Impact, and one hell of a main event. And next week, Michael Cole will do the Revolution Impact reveal, and Joe Gowdy and Dan Lambert will do the Revolution Chambers reveal, and the following week I will do the Revolution Impact reveal. This is Lore signing off, saying thank you for watching. See you next week.